Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Nick Driver, and I'm a New Mexican. Today, we're going to be talking about the Democrats' move to reinstate methane rules loosened by Trump. Here in New Mexico, I don't understand how any of our politicians can back this right now, especially since him loosening those restrictions made us a $22 billion surplus in oil. And they plan on using that surplus to fund some of their programs. So my question for our Democrats is, if you support this, where do you plan on getting the money for these other programs and things you want to do? So anyways, let's get into this. I'm Nick Driver. I'm a New Mexican. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, follow, share, do all that fun stuff and whatnot. But this article is on KOB4 by Matthew Daly. So let's see. Washington AP. Congressional Democrats are moving to reinstate regulations designed to limit potential greenhouse gas emissions from oil and gas fields, part of a broader effort by Biden administration to combat climate change. Because climate change right now is the biggest issue in America. Anyways, the Senate is set to take up resolution Wednesday that would undo environmental rollback by President Donald Trump that relaxed requirements in 2016's Obama administrator's rule targeting methane emissions from oil and gas drilling. The Environmental Protection Agency approved the rule last year. The agency's former administrator, Andrew Wheeler, declared the change would strengthen and promote American energy. Strengthen and promote American energy. Anyways, while saving company tens of millions of dollars in a year on compliance requirements. Democrats and environmentalists called the methane rollback one of Trump's administration's most egregious actions to deregulate U.S. business. I don't know why they just didn't use outrageous or like ludicrous, or why do they always got to use words that... Anyways, the common American doesn't understand that word. Just saying. So using those type of words is just, you're negating telling people things. So just use words that people understand. Anyways, I know what it means. It's just I can't pronounce it right off the bat. Well, because it looks weird to me. So noting that methane is one of the most potent greenhouse gases that contribute to global warming, packing a stronger punch in the short term than even carbon dioxide. Preventing methane leaks at oil and gas sites is a huge part of how we prevent a 1.5 degree Celsius rise in global temperatures, a key aim of the climate movement, said Senator Martin Heinrich, Democrat of New Mexico. Yes, this is why we're reading it. It's because this bill is pushed by our Democrats here in New Mexico, and it's makes no sense to me how they can be pushing this while pushing other things, and we'll talk about the other things in a little bit. So Heinrich, a member of the Senate Energy Committee, is co-sponsoring the resolution under the Congressional Review Act, which allows Congress to overturn certain regulations that have been in place for a short time. The Trump rule was finalized last September. These guys are so determined to change everything Trump has done, even though almost everything he has done nothing but better the country. He's not a perfect person, but I mean, if you just actually look at stats and everything he did, yeah, okay. Heinrich called the resolution a no-brainer, saying that preventing leaking of methane, a type of natural gas, will save companies money, put people to work, and help prevent global warming. The measure is supported by all 50 Senate Democrats, as well as Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine. But Heinrich and other Democrats say they are hopeful for more Republicans to join them. A similar measure is pending in the House and is expected to win approval. I'm surprised and a little disappointed that it's not broadly bipartisan, Heinrich said, noting that many energy companies, including Shell Oil, Occidental Petroleum, and Chenery Energy, Inc., support reinstate of the Obama-era rule. I don't know much about these companies, but I'm assuming if they support this, they're probably because they're mained outside of America and not really getting all their energy, their oil from America. Just saying. It's sort of an inertia and dogma at this point by Republicans to oppose the methane rule, he said in an interview. Collins, who joined the Democrats to block a GOP-led effort to overturn a similar Obama-era methane rule in 2017, said the new resolution would help tackle climate change and protect public health and environment by restoring tougher standards at the EPA that significantly decrease methane emissions. Methane is significantly more potent than carbon dioxide and is highly destructive to the climate, Collins said. Senator Shelley Moore, Capito, Republican, West Virginia, said Democrats appear intent on demonizing natural gas, even though increased natural gas production spurred by the fracking boom actually helped lead to significant reductions in greenhouse gases and emissions over the past decade. So who's right? Who's right? The Democrats or the Republicans? Is it helping reduce because we're using less, we're having to basically, instead of having to transport all these gases across the ocean and use and waste all that emissions and risk polluting the ocean, we're doing it here locally. So yeah, it did reduce emissions somehow, but I'm pretty sure there's other things to go along with it. Anyways, Capitol to top Republican on the Senate Environment Committee said President Joe Biden managed to kill thousands of jobs and paralyze American industry with executive orders. That is fact. Joe Biden killed thousands of jobs and really hindered America's energy efficiency with his executive orders soon after taking office. So Biden's moratorium, I can't read, on new oil and gas leases on federal lands and water is an economic, energy, and national security disaster rolled into one, she said. The order moves America from energy independence back to relying on foreign adversaries for energy. That's what the Democrats want. They don't care about America. This is it. This is the whole thing right here. Like, they claim climate change, but the fact of the matter is we're not emitting as much emissions as all these other countries in the UM. Some, like, we may be like the top 5, but there's still other countries above us, and nobody's pressuring them, but they're going to force us to no longer be energy independent and they want us to rely on those companies, those countries that are emitting more than us and get our oil from them. It makes no sense. It's counterintuitive because it really hurts America. We want to be energy efficient. We don't want to rely on foreign countries. We want foreign countries to rely on us. They already do with our defense system. Our military defense, many foreign countries rely on us. Trump made the right move by pulling us out of the Paris Agreement anyways. So, the order moves, right, relying on foreign adversaries for energy. That's what they want. Countries that have much laxer environmental standards. So, rules for thee, not for me type of thing. Capito wrote in an op-ed Monday in Washington Times. She called the leasing pause part of a looming war against natural gas, a fossil fuel that contributes to a global warming, although at lower rates than coal or oil. The forces against natural gas are growing, she said, adding that many Democrats and environmentalists also oppose coal, or any other energy source that's not blessed by the Green New Deal. Democrats disputed that notion. The Green New Deal, a widely touted by non-binding proposal to shift the U.S. economy away from fossil fuels such as oil and coal and replace them with renewable sources such as wind and solar power, has not been approved in either the House or the Senate. The problem is they're trying to jump. You can't just cut the oil industry, sweep its legs out from underneath it without anything left. So before we start pushing these restrictions, let's start building these other things that we want. So let's get these solar farms out there. Let's get these wind farms out there. Let's get these tide farms out there. Let's get these alternate sources of energies that you guys want out and working. And once we start getting that, then let's start worrying about this. Okay? That's all I'm saying. You guys are jumping the gun. You rather undercut us and hurt us and make us have to fight to get back instead of get ahead and then cut out the bad. Just saying. Let's see. David Doninger, a clean energy expert at Natural Resources Defense Council, said natural gas has significant leakage at every stage in the production, from drilling to movement through pipelines. Doninger called the Trump administration rollback a free pass for American oil and gas companies to keep leaking, adding, if you are looking for fast relief from the worst effects of global warming, then methane control is high on your list. Y'all better sew up your buttholes. Sorry, but humans every day, cows every day, let out methane every day, and I guarantee you that it's letting out more methane than these. I can't say guarantee you, but I'm pretty sure that a significant amount of methane that ends up in the atmosphere is coming out of someone's ass. Repealing the Trump rule not only is beneficial in itself, Doninger said, but it also will send a strong signal that America is back on course in the fight against climate change, and this Congress wants to get action done on climate. We're nowhere near back on course. And the fact of the matter, climate change is not going to put us back on course if we're going to be honest with ourselves. We have a lot more issues than climate change to worry about before we're back on course. But you know what? Let's focus on climate change, because we're going to make everybody scared as temperatures rise because, it's summertime or getting there. That's the time. Let's ignore the crime. Let's ignore the division that is being spread through the media. Let's ignore all the things that actual people want and instill fear and make people think their world's going to end in 12 years. You guys have been saying the same thing about climate change for years. There is scientific proof that the ozone layer opens and closes. Just saying. So people act like this is a rare occurrence. It's going to open. And it's going to close. We're going to rise. We're going to get hot. We're going to get cold. It's the reason we had an ice age. It's the reason we had all these things. We are a minor contributor to what the ozone is doing. But anyways. Send back on course. Not on course. Heinrich agreed, adding that the U.S. needs to build credibility on the world stage on the climate change following 4 years in inaction and hostility to climate policy under Trump. We don't need to build credibility with anyone. All right? If anyone needs to build credibility, they need to build it with us. We need to stop cow tipping and bowing over to the UN and all these people who are not here in America. All right? I'm just saying. This is America. I don't give about the other part of the countries. They need to worry about themselves, just like we need to worry about ourselves. The UN should only get involved through international trading, just like the federal government should only get involved in state issues if it deals with a second state. States need more rights. It's a great opportunity to build momentum as Congress considers Biden's $2.3 trillion infrastructure plan later this year, Heinrich said. The plan targets nearly $1 trillion in spending on climate and clean energy, including 500,000 charging stations for electric vehicles, a significant expansion of solar and wind power, and development of technology to capture and store carbon pollution from coal and fire-powered plants. All right, let's get this done. Let's spend that $1 trillion on getting these things installed and getting these wind farms and expanding solar before we start cutting ourselves short. That's all I'm saying. Heinrich noted that congressional approval of the methane rule also would help Biden at the global meeting on climate change, scheduled for November in Glasgow, Scotland. The votes would tell other countries that we are not just rejoining the Paris Climate Accord, but we will lead the world on climate, he said. All right, let's get to this main point. I don't see how our Democratic Party can even support this when they keep talking about using the surplus we get from our oil and gas to fund their projects. All right, they have all these plans and these great ideas they want to push in New Mexico, and it's going to be paid for by the surplus in oil. But at the same time, they're closing our refineries and restricting our oil. Where's my surplus going to go? Where's this oil surplus going to be next year? Will we have it? I don't know. I hope so, because the Democrats want to spend a lot of money on a lot of things, and it's supposed to come from that surplus. So if the surplus goes, where are they going to get this money from? Are you going to pay? I'm going to pay, because that's what they're going to go for. They're going to go for every single one of us. In other words, our taxes are going to go up. You ever wonder why the cost of living keeps going up in New Mexico? It's because of these crappy ass policies that they keep putting in place. You ever wonder why the crime is going up in New Mexico? It's because of the lax on certain policies and the push for new policies that only encourage crime. Politicians, you need to get straight. You can't be sending out two things at the same time that are counterintuitive of each other. Pick one. Universal preschool or methane restrictions. Because if you do these restrictions, you're going to lose all the funding for your universal preschool and early childhood education. Because that's what you claim the money's going to be coming from, is our oil surplus. But you're destroying it. Anyways, that's all I got for you today. My name's Nick Driver. I'm a New Mexican. Please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, agree or disagree. Let me have it. Let it rip. No pun intended, because, we're talking methane, let it. Anyways, y'all have a great day. Take it easy.